Hello, we hope you're all well and keeping safe. That's how most of our messages have started these past couple of months. Isn't it funny, or perhaps peculiar, that the whole world has started checking in on one another? Lockdown saw us writing letters, organising virtual quizzes, going on walks, and clapping for our carers. Things that before we were just too busy for. I know this was certainly not how we were expecting 2020, the fresh start of a new decade. Like every new year, we started off with great enthusiasm and goals, but with an extra boost as we entered the regenerated roaring 20s. However, the year took a significant turn. 2020 has seen unexpected chaos, loss, and sorrow, but it has also seen tremendous compassion, joy, and love. Ultimately, we have learnt and been taught some of the most valuable lessons. This was our last year of high school, which naturally saw breakdowns, stresses, and anxiety about what was going to happen next. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? What is going to change? We were faced with a whole new set of choices, conundrums, and decisions. And we also realised how we, as individuals, cope with change. I know that within my peer group, there were tears, panics, and arguments. There was also annoyance. As 6 years went by, our excitement began to spark as we began ticking off the S6 milestones. Christmas Ceilidh, funny photos. But our 6 year was not met with its typical end. The whole world was shaken by the global pandemic of COVID-19. Understanding the suffering being experienced around the world, we couldn't help but feel slight disappointment in our loss of the usual high school end. Let's be honest, we were bitter. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. But that's what it was. We got our hoodies, even if we didn't get to wear them for as many weeks as we should have. We got to sign each other's shirts, even if it wasn't when we had planned to. We got to give gifts to our teachers, even if they weren't what we had originally planned. We'll use that as an excuse as to why we only got you all a box of chocolates. We got to celebrate afterwards, even if it wasn't as warm as it should have been. We got to take pictures, which we will store forever, even if there is a slight anxiety in our faces as we remained wary of social distancing. We got to have a good day. We got to spend time together before we were put on lockdown. Lockdown began on Monday, 23rd of March, which saw us staying home for 2 months until restrictions started lifting. Naturally, this isolation brought its difficulties. As its name suggests, it was lonely. It was perhaps at times mundane, but actually, we were very lucky. COVID-19 cancelled a lot of things, holidays, trips, concerts, parties, but it didn't cancel our community, nor our friendships. In fact, it was during this isolation period that I realised just how inspiring a community Moneyfield High School really is. We had DP's workouts to keep us active, we had challenges and activities to maintain our interests and passions, but, most importantly, we had one another to keep us going. This pandemic highlighted the many important groups within our communities. First and foremost, the key workers in our lives, the healthcare workers, the retail workers, the public transport workers, the postal workers, the waste collection workers. The list is truly endless. The volunteers, people were signing up to any role that meant they could offer a helping hand during this crisis. The isolated, we developed an important understanding and recognition of those within our community who did not have as many people around them to keep them company, and so we reached out in every way possible just to have a chat. Our loved ones, whilst being confined in the same space with our families may have brought some tension, we realised how lucky we were to have people around us to support us, and we understood just how much our parents and relatives do for us each day. And of course, our teachers. COVID-19 forced many professions to work from home in completely new ways, including our teachers, because whilst other parts of the world were halting, we couldn't let our education do the same. Whilst us S6s were chilling, pupils began virtual learning. At first this was perhaps not to their pleasure, but secretly I think we all held a large amount of appreciation for the amount of organisation, effort and care that our teachers were giving to keep us learning. I should take this moment to thank the wonderful teachers and staff who supported us throughout our time at Moneyfield High School. I struggle to find the words to describe the importance of our teachers, so I resorted to Googling quotes about teaching, which there are many of, but this one seemed to sum it up quite simply. Teaching is the one profession that creates all other professions. Whilst perhaps not the most wordy or sentimental, I think this simple statement shows how the role of our teachers shape what we are to become. And really, that is quite a remarkable thing. If there's one good thing that has come from this pandemic, it is our developed sense of gratitude. We learnt the value of a single day. We realised if we are always looking ahead, thinking about the future, we're missing out on the now. The most important lesson in life, but also the one we forget most often, is to take each day as it comes. 2 months of no human contact made us realise the number of little things we were taking for granted. Sitting next to one another on the school bus, in the lower social area, in the classroom, hugging our friends hello and goodbye, simply being around one another. A more specific thing for us 6 years was our contact with our befrienders. We never took that for granted, but it was certainly something we missed. The Moneyfield befriending scheme's goal became more relevant than ever, to tackle isolation amongst the elderly members of our community. When asked to describe what befriending means to us, I think the common adjective would be rewarding, because being told that you personally are making a difference to someone's life, or that this person looks forward to seeing you, that's a whole new kind of feeling. So, it seems only fit that I mention the friend I came to know during my befriending experience. Maureen had a terminal lung illness which restricted her abilities to breathe and walk. Yet, she wanted to keep herself as busy as possible, which was why she was interested in having some Essex befrienders. Maureen was active in many ways. She enjoyed going out to the shops, she enjoyed helping out in her community, and she enjoyed spending time with her family. All these things became more difficult as her illness progressed, which did cause a sense of frustration for her. Nonetheless, her visits were always filled with great energy. Each visit would last 2 hours or more and were filled with conversations from politics to reality TV. Maureen was born and bred in Dundee, and she was proud to say so. We would sit in her armchairs looking through old photos and newspapers of Dundee, wonder in her eyes as Maureen sat and smiled. Sadly, Maureen's health began to deteriorate, which meant our visits became shorter and she struggled to maintain her usual lengthy conversations, to the point where she did not feel well enough to continue our befriending. Our last visit with Maureen was the week before Christmas last year. That was also the last time we would see Maureen, as she passed away on the 26th of May this year, aged 73. What I learnt from my time with Maureen is that every individual has their own story, and that even the ones that seem small are actually a lot bigger when we take the time to listen. Maureen wanted to be a teacher, but a family situation meant she could not go to university. Instead, she had 5 jobs throughout her life, and each one, she said, she loved and learned from. I truly hope Maureen realises how much she helped the people in her life, and that she is rested now. Thank you, Maureen, for all that you have taught us and for letting us be a part of your story. I think we all know now how much we need to always be checking in on one another, hearing one another, remembering that everyone around us has and is living their own story. So thank you to Moneyfield High School and to everyone that makes up its beautiful community for forming this important chapter of our story. My time at Moneyfield High, but especially my time as a school captain, has brought me a lot of good things, and I am very happy to be passing on to more than capable hands with the new team of 6. We already know what a fantastic team they are from their inspiring efforts during the lockdown with their Mental Health Awareness Week and S1 transition work. I think it's fair to say our boots have been filled. Sincerely, the school captains of 2019 to 2020.